before. Okay. So for those that don't understand, I will talk on here before people get in here because I know there might be people that come in at a later date and watch my content. So that is why I talk before people actually get in here sometimes. So, okay. I'm about to try to clean the house. Um, my kitchen is not really bad, but I got like dishes that definitely need to be cleaned. Um, so I'm just gonna start by taking the pots and pans that's clean and putting them in their spots where they're supposed to be at. So yeah. But so it's a topic I do want to talk about, but I do kind of want people in here before I start like talking about it. It is kind of early in the morning and it's a Monday, so I don't know how well this live will actually do sometimes. But I was just like in my car and I had to drop my baby off. I just dropped him off to school a few minutes ago. And I was just thinking about like how intentional God is with like the stuff. Like literally things will be aligned and you don't even know. Like you don't realize it in the moment that there's an alignment going on. Like, I was thinking about it because if y'all have been watching, it's it was like, okay, I think I told y'all it was, I don't know, I told y'all as soon as it happened, like as soon as I didn't have that job no more, I had told y'all. And so I I do have employment now. It's not gonna be like, the same as what I was making before or whatever, but I'm grateful because, it's something instead of me, you know, being here and not making it like it's something. And it's just the fact that, like a lot of people are in the position now where they may have left their place of work or whatever, and you know it's probably hard for them to find employment or something like that. So I'm just grateful that I like, he blessed me this soon, you know. Um it's like you just, I keep saying it, but I've been in this situation kind of before, but it's just my first time, excuse me, being in this situation with a kid. And of course he's not aware of what's going on. Like, I don't think so. Like, my kid is like, he's very smart. Like, he's a very smart kid, so he might have an understanding or might have an inkling a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, because he's really smart. Like, y'all just don't understand how smart that baby is. I be so surprised sometimes, but I'm like, is that normal, But yeah, I was like in my car and I like being by myself in my car, because for whatever reason when you driving, it's like all of the stuff, like you start connecting dots, like stuff start making sense that you didn't think about before, and like, all these little things or whatever. So last year, y'all know I went to Jamaica last October. So that was like a year ago. Almost. Like next month will make a year since I took that trip. And that was the month that I met my the friend that helped me this time around. And it's just like, if I wouldn't have been going on that trip, I probably wouldn't have booked that service, and I probably would not have met her as soon. And it's just like a full circle moment that I met the person that helped me, or that's helping me in the season where I really need help. So I was in my car and I was thinking, I was like, wow. So God knew, and it made me realize like I am on the right path, because you know, like I knew from the beginning that this was gonna end up how it ended up. But it's like he literally be putting people in your corner to help you when that time comes, because he knows, like, it's already written. He knew this was gonna happen, so he was already setting me up so that I had help. And you know, that's, I feel like that's one reason why I didn't worry, because I'm like, I've been in situations like this before and it always work out. So I'm just like, dang, like last year I felt like I wanted to leave that job. I did not know he was putting helpers in place for me, so when I did leave that job, I would have like something else. Like, I want y'all, like, I challenge y'all to literally sit back and think about the times where you thought you didn't have nobody, and think about who was put in your corner to help you during those times, or the different events that happened to help you in that time of need. Because it's gonna blow your mind. Like, stuff is really planned out, stuff is really strategic. Like, literally, I'm next month will make a year since I met her, and around that time was the time where I felt like I don't want to be at my job no more, and now she's the one that's helping me. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. And then the position she's in, it was easy for her to help me because she's a manager. So it was easy for her to help me. So it's just like, when I think about stuff like that, because it's been several times where God, like, when I sit back and I think about, like, wow, he literally put this person in my life at the right time. Or he made this thing happen at the right time. Like, it's always covered. I think that's why, like, during this whole process, I haven't really like cried or felt the type of way that everybody assumes that I should feel. Because I just had this strong feeling in me, like, everything is gonna work out. Like, yeah, it's a pay cut, most likely. I don't even know how much I'm gonna be getting paid, but it's like, I know it's a pay cut because I was making like high salary. But it's like, at least I have something now, and like, I understand that, you know, in this day and age, that's kind of rare. Yeah, God's plan. Like, I understand that in this day and age it's kind of rare, because it's a lot of people that, you know, they leave a job and they won't have employment for a very long time. So it's like, it was aligned, you know, for me to have this happen, and the timing of it and stuff like that. Like, you just, like, that's like, when y'all sit back and think about that, like, think about all the stuff that worked out that you was worried about, and think about, if you never met this person or you never went to this place, where would you be? Or, you know, what blessing would have got stopped and stuff like that. Like, I just think that's a cool thing to think about, because I thought about that when I was on my way back to the house after dropping my baby off. I'm just like, wow, he's so creative. God is so creative. But, like, literally, it'll be almost a year, and it was on my heart. The fact that that feeling was on my heart, and he was like, okay, I got you. I have a helper right here that's gonna help you when you finally do make that decision. That is crazy. That is so crazy to think about. And we just don't know. We, like, so oblivious sometimes to, like, the things that's happening around us, because we so, like, stuck in the moment. We have tunnel vision on the moment or what's happening to us, but we don't see all the little outside factors, all the things around us, because we just, like, looking at this one obstacle. But it's stuff around us. It's people being put into place to help you. It's events being put into place to help you. You know, like, it's so many things that's working in the background. It's this worship song. It's a video that I actually like watching, and it's the song is Waymaker, but the way they did it, it's like they did like a worship service, and for this song, and like a part of it is like, even when I don't hear you, I know that you're working. Even when I don't feel you, I know that you're working. So even when you have those moments where you feel like God just like went MIA on you, like you don't feel his presence, you don't hear him, like you feel like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Even when you don't feel or think that he's in the process of making things work out for you, trust and believe that even though you don't hear him, you don't feel him, you don't see him, he is there and he's moving stuff in your favor. He's working stuff out in your favor. I don't know who needs to hear that, but like, he's literally moving mountains for you. He's making sure that he has your destiny helpers out there to assist you. He's moving things around so that you're gonna get that job. You're gonna be able to, even if you don't get a job, he's making moves so that somebody can be feel led to, buy you a meal so you don't have to worry about how you're gonna eat that day. Or he's putting on somebody's mind to give you some extra money for, like, or give you a higher tip or something while you at work so that you can, pay for something that you lacking in. Yeah, I agree with you. It could be literally by a person or something, but it will happen. Yeah, like he uses people to help us most of the time. Like, it's been times, I remember it was one time I went to Target and I was like in line. I did self checkout, and I was like, when I was at self checkout, I don't really carry cash on me anymore, but I kept on hearing this voice in my head that said, "Take out 20." I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't need $20. Why do I need to take out $20? But it kept saying, "Take out 20." So I listened and I took out the 20. Soon as I walked out the door, it was this man that was outside, and he was about $20 or $30 short of money that he needed for a bus ticket to get back home. Now, he could have been lying, but it's just, crazy that I had that voice in my head tell me that I needed to take out that money and that, that amount. So I got him way close to what he needed in order to get back home. And I told him, I was like when I pulled the money out, I was like, okay, I guess this was for you. And he looked at me like, what? And I'm like, God, when I was in the store, God told me to to take out extra cash or whatever. I didn't know why, but he told me to take out extra cash, and I gave him the money. And he looked at me and he was like, whoa. And he said, like, he was saying how he wasn't a strong believer before, but a lot of stuff has been happening lately that's trying to, like, make him like see that he's being helped. And people are the main vessel that God will use to help you get to where you want to go. So it's like we may think we're doing stuff by ourselves or we're doing stuff alone, but I know. Well, I mean, if I was in that position, that I would want to help as well. But it's like we're in those situations where we think we're doing everything by ourselves. But God, you literally in life, you need people in general, because those are the main sources that God uses to help you get to the blessing that you're praying for. People are the main things that God uses to help other people. So I went through most of my life feeling like I was doing everything by myself. But when I take a sit back and I like look at everything, I needed people to get to the point. It was relationships and connections that helped me move forward. I didn't do everything by myself. Yeah, I put forth the effort, but he was using people as vessels in order to help me achieve the things that I was trying to achieve. In order for me to get the opportunities that I wanted, somebody had to hire me. Somebody had to consider me. So I had to interview with somebody. I had to talk to somebody. I had to make connections with somebody. So it's like we always need people, and he's using them as vessels to answer your prayers. So you're never alone. Like, that's the main thing he uses to help us, is people. So I just like had that realization in my heart, is like everything is strategic. You stressing about something or worrying about something, it's already taken care of. It's already handled. A way has already been made, and the preparation probably started years ago and you just didn't know. But it's like, that's why I like taking those moments where I can just like sit in my thoughts and think about, dang, like this was already handled. Like, if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't have been covered right now. Like, like even with me getting my house, I had been told no so many times. I had been told oh, your debt to income ratio too high and stuff. That's the main issue I was having. I had even though my credit score was high and I had enough money where I could rent a house, everybody kept telling me all these things and telling me no. went to this place thinking that it went to this house thinking that it was not this house, but went to a house thinking that it was for rent. But when I pulled up, the sign said for sale. And when the realtor walked out, I was like, I'm not even gonna waste your time. I see that sign, excuse me, it says for sale, and I'm not in a position to, you know, buy a house right now. He was like, why not? And he asked me these other questions that nobody else asked me. And he was like, basically like, yes, you can do it. And he knew people to help me proceed with my, you know, with what I needed to get done. So he literally is sending you somebody who can turn that no into a yes. He's sending you somebody who has certain knowledge that other people might not have. Those people didn't know what I needed in order for them to help me. They just told me no because they just looking at the root, like the books. They looking at this plain and simple thing. But this other person, he knew what I needed to do. He asked the right questions, and I checked all those boxes or whatever, and he knew that I could be helped. And so at like the timing was the timing that it needed to be. How to tell if the people were God's people? Any advice? I don't even think it's like, I don't think it's a thing of if they're God's people or not. I feel like me personally, I get feelings before things happen. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell if it's a bad situation, like if I'm gonna be uncomfortable or not. But I can tell sometimes, even though, because with that job, I felt like before I even took the job, I felt like it was going to be an uncomfortable situation. But I still took it because I felt like I was supposed to do it, which I feel like I did need to do it because it was a stepping stone. Sometimes we have to meet people, and even though the relationship might not, or the situation, not even like romantic relationship, just the relationship as in like, you know, two people meeting, interacting, even though that might not go as planned, you might meet people along the way that can help you. For example, when I first moved to Orlando, I moved to Orlando with an ex-boyfriend, like with a boyfriend or whatever. We were a couple at the time. During that time, I felt uneasy. Like I was like, I don't think I should do this. But I still felt like I needed to do it because it was a stepping stone. Even though the situation as a whole, like he wasn't that good to me and everything like that, even though that person wasn't good to me, it was a step that I had to take, because in the process of going through that with that person, I met amazing long-term friends. Anytime I go back to visit, you know, I had a place to stay because of that experience, because I went there, I, you know, met other people. Like, even if you're not meant, if that person isn't good for you, sometimes it's the things that happen along that journey that help you in the end. So all of the people that we come across are a part of our purpose. Even when I say, like, a lot of the times I get on here and I say, like, I really wish I never met my son's father or whatever. But when I really look at the situation, it's like, when I first started, I used to work at corrections. The reason I started that job was because I went to a family gathering with him, and there was somebody there that I spoke to, and that person put in word for me at corrections, and got an interview, and I did good at the interview, and then that's how I got started there. And that job being put on my resume allowed me to you know, it made it look good. So when other jobs came about, people were like, oh my God, like, yeah, like, we want you because that looked good on my resume. So even though I had a horrible experience with him personally, and I just felt like he was the worst person that I could ever have met in my life, the events and things that occurred during that process of knowing him, the people that I met while I knew him, they helped me. That was like stepping stones that I needed to take in order to reach the levels that I needed to reach. So I feel like, even like, you know, those people that you might feel like aren't of God, he don't necessarily send you angels all the time, or people that's going to be good to you all the time. Sometimes those people that you have traumatic experiences with, you meet other people along that way, and it helps you to progress. So yeah, like, sometimes I know it's a hard thing, because like I said, that situation, I was severely traumatized by that person, but I can acknowledge that me meeting and knowing that person did help me in the long run of like stepping up and moving up in the career that I was doing at that time. So I feel like they're all sent, whether it's good or bad. Everybody serves a purpose in our journey. I know sometimes I don't acknowledge that. It's about the journey. Yes, it's about the journey. It's not sometimes solely about the people. It's about the events that's happening around you knowing those people or meeting those people. So, yeah, so if you look at it like that, it might help, because every situation not gonna be good. A lot of people are broken or damaged, so they don't know how to treat you, or they don't know how to interact with other people and stuff like that. So it might cause your experience to feel messed up or something. So if you just look at the journey and not the particular people, that might help a little bit, because it's like sometimes it's just a process you have to go through. But yeah, like this whole time when I was dealing with being unemployed, it wasn't even that long. Like literally, this happened. This happened the was it the first or second week? This happened the second week of this month, and this month is almost over, and it's the last week of this month, and God has already blessed me with an income again. So, and it was because he put me in alignment with somebody last year, and that person helped me this year when the decision I wanted to make last year first hit my mind. He had already put in place a helper that was going to help me during this time, that I needed it. So, it's a part of the journey. It is a part of the journey. But I'm gonna throw all this little plasticware away. I don't know why my sister keeps all this stuff. But yeah, like, and I know that sometimes you're being used for somebody's journey. Sometimes you're like, and you might not even realize it. Sometimes it's you that's being used to help somebody move forward, and you don't understand or like know that that's what's happening, but that's what's happening sometimes. Because like I mentioned before, when I moved to Orlando, like I didn't know nobody out there. I had only been there briefly on trips and stuff, like when I was younger and stuff like that. I didn't know anybody. He was the only person I knew there, but he helped me get a job. I used to work at the Florida Mall. He helped me get a job because I didn't plan on staying as long as I did. To me, I was just supposed to be visiting for like, during the summer or whatever, and then I was gonna go back home. In his head, I was coming there to live. So he eventually had helped me find employment, because he used to work at the mall in a different store. And so he was like, he heard about an opening, and then he gave me the paperwork for it. I went and interviewed, and they liked me and they hired me. Because I was the only person that showed up to the freaking hiring thing, because it was supposed to be multiple people, which I wasn't aware of. But I was the only person that showed up. So, of course, that made me look even better to them. But, yeah. So, me starting that job was how I met other people. Met the people that I still am in communication with, and that I usually because the area I live in is horrible with flights and stuff like that. So I usually go to Orlando. I let my friend that I met during that season, I let him watch my car while I go up and I catch my flights out of Orlando. And if I would have never went to Orlando and lived there for that period of time, I wouldn't have that connection. If he would have never helped me get that job or told me about that job, I wouldn't have that connection. Even though our relationship didn't work out, it's still, things that happened helped me out in the long run. Yeah, that's actually interesting. If you think about it, we all have stuff to do in other people's life. Yeah. Yeah. We all have things that we have to do in other people's life to help them. And we don't realize that we're doing it. we just, we're just going on about our day, just thinking that it's just normal. This is just usual stuff, but you're literally probably helping somebody. You're literally helping somebody. Like, whether it's just aligning them with somebody who they need in their long-term life, or giving them an opportunity, or you could just be you could invite a friend out to some place, a friend that you didn't have a couple months ago, but y'all met, and because y'all met, like, you invite them someplace, and you invite them to that place that they probably would have never went on their own, invites them to experiencing or receiving a blessing that they wouldn't have received, because they probably would have been sitting at their house if they would have never known you and got invited out to this place with you. So we are being used, and we don't realize it sometimes. So that's one reason why it's good to be nice to people. It's good to be that helping hand, because the way I look at it, even though I feel like it's got me messed up sometimes, like the way I think about it, because sometimes it's like I've helped people because I felt like if I was in their situation, I want to be helped too. So I would sit there and help people, and it might put me in an uncomfortable situation or whatever. So yeah, that's been a downfall for me sometimes. But at the same time, like, those things, I feel like that karma comes back to you. Um, it might not feel good in a moment, and that's the thing. Sometimes, because we feel like things don't feel comfortable in the moment, we don't do it. We don't take the chance because we don't feel good about it in that moment. Um, and I feel like sometimes, for me particularly, I feel like when that happens in my life, I feel like that's my discernment telling me. But then at the same time, I know a lot of the times, even though I feel uncomfortable, I'm feeling uncomfortable for the future. Like, when I started that job, I was uncomfortable from the very beginning. Like, I kept doing everything in my power. I tried to cancel the interview. I tried to tell them, like, I didn't want to take the position, and everything kept on coming back and making me take that opportunity. So I knew I had to take it, but my discernment, and, like, because I guess I'm kind of clairvoyant in a sense, that part of me was trying to make me not do it, because, like, I knew it was going to be an uncomfortable outcome. But God was saying, like, you have to go through this. You have to go through this, because he was making things happen that forced me into that. So I knew this is a stepping stone. It's not going to feel good in the end, but you have to do it. So that's, like, yeah. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but sometimes you have to do the things that feel uncomfortable, because that one instance could make a life-changing situation in your life. Yeah, but everybody doesn't have, like, good discernment. And everybody is not able to tell what chances to take and what chances not to take. I would just say pray about it. Or even like a mindset thing. Because in my head, because of the different experiences I've had, in my mind, if God allows me to obtain something, he will always provide for me to keep that thing. If he allows me to buy a new car, he's going to always provide. There will always be a way made for me to be able to pay for that car. If he allows me to move out, and I wanted to move out so bad, he's going to allow me to have the funds to pay for my rent or pay for my mortgage or whatever. When I moved into my very first apartment, I quit the job I had because I felt like it was time for me to go. I got so uncomfortable, and I was being put in these situations where I just knew it was time for me to go. So I quit that job, even though this was my first apartment and that was my source of income. I quit. You said making choices could be scary. Yeah, it's very scary sometimes. It is very scary, but you got to make them. You got to take a leap out on faith and make those decisions. But yeah, like, when I first moved into that apartment, I had quit my job, so I didn't have income anymore. But I knew that everything was going to work out. I knew that I was covered. I had this knowing. So I just was like, my mental health is more important. And plus, I'm driving this way just for me to feel uncomfortable. Like, I'm coming to this place every day just for me to feel uncomfortable. And I know I'm not supposed to be here. Leave. Leave, and it will work out. And that's what I did. I left, and it worked out. I ended up, like, I paid my stuff on time every month. I had funds every month. When I first got in there, because I didn't have money like that, I had a roommate at the time. I would ask her if she had like extra food. I asked her if I can get some. She usually say yeah, because she used to cook so much food that it'll just, it'll go to waste pretty much. So like she shared it with me. I didn't have no pots or pans or nothing like that. So I would use hers and I just clean it up after. Like, of course, I asked her first and she was cool with that. So use it, whatever. Then I got to the point where I was able to afford to get my own stuff. God was blessed me in ways so that I was able to, find a job. And like eventually I got in a position where I didn't have to borrow these things from her anymore. I didn't have to ask for anything anymore. I was able to build up my finances and afford to get my own things because I took a leap out on faith and I did what I had to do in that season, and like doors started opening for me. So it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's not easy to make decisions, but I feel like decisions have to be made. And for me personally, I feel like if I don't make the right decision, because I don't feel like you can make a wrong decision. I feel like everything is like predestined in a sense, where it's like either way, even if you stray from what you're supposed to do, you will always find your way back. I feel like that's why a lot of people, some of these homeless people, they've been homeless for all these years, and they might have had dreams and aspirations to be bigger and do more with their life, and things just didn't go right. But it was in God's plan for somebody to come along and help them. Like how these people get on TikTok and stuff, and they'll, give to the homeless, or they'll do a GoFundMe, or not even just the homeless. Somebody walking in Walmart. It's this guy follow named Jimmy Darts. Like, he just goes out and he blesses people. He'll do like random tasks and see who's the first person to help him or something, or some first person to do the task with him, and he'll bless them. And sometimes he'll do GoFundMe's to help that person, like basically change their life or pay a medical bill or do something for them. And you don't know what that person was praying for. You don't know what type of help that person was asking for. And they might have given up on a dream or given up on hope. And then somebody one day was just sent to them to help them to achieve all of the things that they couldn't achieve before. So even if you fall off course, you will be put back on course. Because if it was written, if you were told this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to have, it will always be yours. Nobody can take you away from it. No experience, no person, nothing can take away what is meant for you. Nobody. Nobody. Nothing. You might get thrown off course, but if it's for you, you will always have it. Those dreams you thought were lost, you could be walking somewhere or go somewhere one day, and then all of a sudden you're living in an answered prayer. I saw this lady, I saw this a video on TikTok like a couple years ago. Maybe last year, maybe a year before, I don't know. But when she was a kid, there was a doll that she always wanted. It was two stories like this. One lady, it was a doll she had always wanted, but I guess like they didn't have the funds or whatever to get it. And she just had this conversation. To her, it was probably a meaningless conversation with her child. And in his head, I'm going to get my mommy that toy. I'm going to make her dream come true. Her child was used as a vessel to heal that little girl in her. So even though she wanted that toy when she was younger, she got it as an adult. Anything you want, if you want it bad enough, if you feel like it is yours, it will always be yours. Sometimes the timing just doesn't happen when we want it to be or want it to happen, but it will always be yours. It will always find its way back to you. And you might have even forgot about it. but it will always find its way back to you because it's meant for you. When you thought about it, when you thought about that thing, your name was got written on it. When you achieve, when that dream developed in your head, your name was written on it. It got assigned to you. So it always belonged to you. You just have to find your way back to it. Or life will make you find your way back to it. That's how I look at things. That's just how I look at things. Like, because in my head, everything I say, for the most part, I have a whole little animated story, like to depict what it is. Like, I'm literally right now picturing something like, like a invite to like a award show or something like that. Because I always wanted to be able to go to like, the red carpet events and stuff like that, because when I was younger, I always wanted to go to 106 Park, but that doesn't even exist anymore. That was like a music show, and they don't have it anymore. What's yours will find you, but what's weird is when it's finding you in the wrong time or when you don't want it anymore. Yeah. But it's like you still have to look at it as if like, okay, I still got my prayer answered. And that's what happens. Like sometimes things reach us when we outgrow it. It's been like relationships that I prayed about, and then like, because I was so in love with that person, I wanted that person so bad during that time frame, but they didn't reciprocate the energy until after I was over it and didn't care anymore and didn't want it anymore. So sometimes that's what happens. But it still found you, it still found you. It still got answered. That's the general. What you wanted still ended up happening. Like, yeah, that's the part. Like it's like things don't always happen when we want them to happen, but they happen. Like the first like prayer or manifestation or whatever you want to call it that really like sticks out to me, like for my life. And I'm an adult, and I still think about this to this day. And this for me is still a huge representation of my blessings and how things work out in my favor and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I was chubby. I wanted to be a cheerleader. I wanted to be all these little things. All these, like, I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to do all of this. I was able to be a cheerleader. I understand how I was able to be a cheerleader because, if you let my little sister be one, you got to let me be one. But I was, even though I was young, I was still aware, but I still was able to obtain that. But the biggest thing that I wanted was like, I would look at the people in Royal Court, and I would look at them on the parades and in the floats, and I'll see them in these pretty dresses and all this stuff like that. And when I was in elementary school, I really, really wanted to get chosen to be like on one of those floats. I really wanted to be a princess. And somebody else got chosen, and I was sad about it. But when I went to middle school, God blessed me twice with me being able to be in Royal Court. I was Miss 7th grade, and I was the queen when I made it to the following grade, the 8th grade. So I was Miss 8th grade, which was the queen of the whole school. So even though when I was in elementary, I didn't get blessed to be the princess or whatever that I wanted to be, with that following season, like that following chapter of my life, I got blessed 2 times more than what I had even asked for. So 2 years in a row, I was able to be a part of Royal Court and get dressed up like a princess and be on floats, and little girls looking at me and like, look, mommy is a princess and stuff like that. Like, I got that. Even though it didn't happen when I wanted it to happen, I still was able to experience it. It still came to me. And things and people were used in that situation because y'all, like, the thing about it is, I'm very smart. I read the room very well a lot of the times. And me getting put into that position where I was the princess and I was the queen, that wasn't supposed to happen because I don't think my classmates chose me. My teachers did. And my teachers chose me I was a little kid, but I'm still like, I still paid attention to a lot of stuff. I was very smart. I was very mature. The teachers chose me because I was a good student, made good grades, I had good behavior, and the girl that the class had chosen was somebody who was like bad and disruptive and hung out with like a bad crowd and stuff like that. So he used my teachers to help me get into that position, because I don't know for sure if that's what happened, but I was paying attention to the stuff that was going around me or whatever. So I, put one and two together, and I'm like, y'all did this. This wasn't a class decision. This was y'all's decision. But he used those people to answer my prayers. And even with the queen thing, I think somebody else had got chosen and something happened, so I had to take over the throne. Things just worked out in my favor. Because those prayers that you pray and then you just drop and you think like, oh, I forget about it, it's not happening, it's still being put in the works. It's still being put in the works. You might end up having a child that, gets older. Like I hate the fact that sometimes we have to wait so long to be blessed with the things we pray for. But sometimes it's your kids that help you achieve those goals. And even though, it takes a long time for them to get older and stuff and be able to help you and stuff like that, sometimes it's your children that you had to have them in order for you to receive that blessing. So even though, it might have been with a person who you don't want to be with and stuff like that, some people, might have had domestic issues or whatever, domestic disputes and stuff, and not had the best of luck with relationship or whatever. Then you get on social media, like Risa Tisa, she went viral on TikTok for sharing her story about her narcissistic, compulsive lying ex-husband. And now she got a whole, I think it's either a movie or a TV series being made about her life. She was able to get a brand new car. She was able to get a house. She's a homeowner now. She's traveling, doing like motivational speaking at different events and stuff like that. Like, she can afford all these things now off of the trauma, off of meeting that man. Sometimes you have to go through these trials and tribulations with people, because what you're going to obtain on the other side is way greater. Like, she's being blessed off of her pain. Like, all these doors and things are being opened. So it's like, you're going to make it through. You are going to make it through. You're going to be okay. You're going to be blessed. It may not feel good right now, but you will be okay. You will be okay. Everything is working out for you, not against you. It is going to be okay. It will be just fine. Just remember that. Think about the different scenarios as to why this could be happening, and don't try to be so negative about it, because sometimes uncomfortable things happen so that you can't end up being comfortable. I usually, but yeah. I just think that's so cool, and I wanted somebody told me before, because I got on I need to hear this. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad I could say that for you, because when I got in the car, something told me to just get on live and talk about how I was feeling in that moment, because I felt like somebody need to hear this kind of stuff, because like, life is just amazing in a sense where it's like, it's all these things are just working all the time. Even if you're just sitting at your house quiet, things are just in the world working, and they're working for you. Like, in a sense, you are the main character. Like, you are the main character, and all these things, all these strings are being pulled to help you to reach your happily ever after. Like, it's just so crazy. Some people stray and they lose sight of hope, and I mean, that's just for them. But like, you just got to keep going. You gotta keep going. But yeah. I don't know. Like somebody, when I did like 2 or 3 lives ago, I was talking about my situation with my ex, like all the little crazy story times and stuff like that. And somebody was like, you need to go on and make sit down videos about each of these stories, and so you can like your channel can take off and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And I thought about Risa Tisa, because I was like, she did it, but it's like, does it mean it's for me? You know? Like, I don't know. If I feel led to, then I will sit down and do that. But I mean, y'all can always go back and watch those 2 lives. I think that was like from a week or 2 ago. But yeah, like I went through some crazy things with that man. But it's like I feel like during the process, I did learn things and I did move up in life, and I did achieve things while I was in that situation. So either way, like some good did come out of it, even though the trauma existed. But yeah, it's just like sometimes it's just crazy how you go through things, and the things that you go through actually help you succeed and help you to succeed in the future. Like, I just know she probably looks at her life now and thinks about, like, I agree. I do believe that everything happened for a reason, like a sign or a warning. Yeah. But yeah, like, it's like, I know she, like, those people that just like make it one day, I just imagine like how that feels, you know, to go from not having much to like one day you just made a post, or you shared your story, or you know, one little minute decision just change the whole trajectory of your life. Like, I just think about how that must feel, you know? Like, you just went from working a regular job to now you going to all these events and speaking to people, and people know your story, and you know, people saying how you inspire them, and they want to take pictures with you, and now you like a whole celebrity overnight. You know, like, it's things could literally change in a blink of an eye. Like, you just don't know. Shut up. But yeah. But I'm so happy that I was able to say something that like helped you, because you know, this was probably for you. I probably was led to say the things I said because, like you said, you needed to hear it. Because you've been the main person on here. I don't know, people been in and out of this live, but you've stuck around, and it was probably because you needed to hear it. And I'm just grateful that I even, you know, was able to deliver a message to just at least one person, you know. Because I don't know, something told me turn on that camera and just start talking, and I just started talking, and you were here. So thank you for listening. But yeah. Life. But I do have a couple of text messages I need to get to, and I do have these dishes and stuff I need to wash. So I probably will get off of here. I don't know, should I? But yeah, I'll probably get off of here soon, because I need to get to this, because I started, and if I sit down, I'm not going to finish. So, and I really want to get this done since I'm about to start working and stuff. Like, I want to be able to have my house cleaner, even though I know my son gonna toss it around. So yeah, I need to turn this water on and get to work. Because if I turn my water on, is this too loud? Like, can you hear me with the water on? Okay. Because I don't want to, that's one thing, I was gonna wash the dishes and talk or whatever, but I don't know if the water is too loud for me to do that. But yeah, it's okay. Thank you for taking the time to make this. Of course. That's one thing my channel is really about. Like, that's one reason why I wish that, like, I know eventually people will find me and see me, but I have a lot of like videos where I'm saying stuff like this. I'm very, like, I feel like I'm very relatable to a lot of people because of the things I've been through in life. So I have a lot of things that I say that really resonate with people because I've been through so much. Like, I've literally been able to relate to almost everybody I've met. So when I first made a YouTube channel, it was the purpose of, you know, showing people that they're not alone. So I would share my stories and share like different things that happened to me, and share life lessons I've learned. But it's like it gets to a point where you share your trauma and barely anybody sees or watches. So it's like, are you really, touching people? So it's like, for you to tell me that you needed to hear that, that means a lot to me, because even if it's just one person, at least I know I'm not saying these things in vain because it helped one person. A lot of the times when you do this type of content, it's kind of hard to keep going if nobody tells you like this means something to me, because it's like I'm just in vain sharing these things and maybe somebody didn't listen. So I'm really grateful, truly appreciative when somebody takes the time to acknowledge that what I said, was something they needed to hear. Because I have a lot of videos like this, but the algorithm doesn't always catch me. So a lot of people don't always see it. So I don't know who I actually have helped sometimes. When I was consistent back in the day, people used to message me and tell me, and like send little videos and stuff like that to tell me like, okay, yeah. And so that kept me going. But at some point, like, that stopped happening as much. So like, I know, because I'm one of those people, I'll watch something but not leave a comment. So I understand. Like, even though it did help me, okay, yeah, I gotta get off here soon because my son at school just sent a message. I guess we're supposed to get a storm soon or something like that. So everybody's trying to prepare for it. That's another thing too, because I'm like, I'm supposed to start working, and now y'all talking about a storm coming. So, but if it's supposed to work out that way, it's supposed to work out that way. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with it, because there's a method to God's madness. So, yeah. But yeah, like, I'm gonna keep making these type of this type of content, because I do know that even if people don't comment or something, it still helps. Good morning. Yeah. I wish you would have been on here sooner. We just had a whole little session. It was so good, and I was about to get off. I really wish you would have been on here sooner. But I gotta wash these dishes. But yeah, like, I like making this kind of stuff. But I mean, I leave my lives up so people can rewatch them if they choose to. So if y'all missing out on a word, or y'all need to hear something positive, you're welcome. If y'all need to hear something positive, it's here. There's always here. Even if you want to hear some little gossip, I got some lives like that about my life. Yeah. Because it's just easier. I like talking to people. Like, I don't, sometimes, like, I'll make a video if I need to do a sit down video or whatever. If I'm just venting or whatever, it's just because I want to talk without being interrupted. If I get on live, I like to talk and have feedback, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like the videos I make on my camera, well, next time we will get it cracking. Yeah, I need to have like a schedule or something, or like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if y'all turn notifications on, maybe then you'll know. But yeah, like, when I don't want to have any feedback, when I just want to talk and not receive any interruptions or nobody saying nothing, I'll do like a little sit down video, so that way I can just get my thoughts out and nobody can't say nothing. But then when I get on live, like, I mean, y'all free to share y'all experiences and stuff. Like, it's a safe space over here. I don't like I feel like because I got on here talking about this topic, I didn't have no trolls this morning. Usually I get on here and I have some trolls saying some off the wall stuff. But this morning it was good. Like, a lot of positive talk. I like that. I really do like that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get off of here because I need to respond and look at these emails and stuff like that. But thank y'all for listening. I'll probably be back sometime this week, depending on how this weather situation goes. Because since I haven't been in the office, usually when I would be in the office, I always have like the weather thing popped up so I can keep track and see we have a storm coming. I wasn't 100% aware that apparently a storm is supposed to come. And everybody's sending stuff now, talking about getting sandbags and getting supplies for preparedness and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh God. So, yeah. So I might have to do some errands and get some stuff today. We will see how that goes. But I mean, even if a storm does come, I'll get on here and like check in and just like, give y'all an update like, oh, a storm came. Thank you, Big Papa. We'll stay safe. My little area is blessed, like for real. Cause when we had that last storm, I'm in Florida. I don't feel like I don't know. I haven't been tracking it, so it could be bad. I just don't know. But when we had like 3 tornadoes back to back a couple months ago. And we could tell the weather was crazy over here. Like we could hear it and everything. Like it kind of gave me PTSD with the rain and stuff like that, because now I get real paranoid when I hear like the wind blowing outside my house and stuff. But our little cul-de-sac, it was probably like one little tree that had got knocked over and some little branches. But when you leave out, when I tell you like trees, wires, all this stuff was down and we were barely touched. And then it's crazy because like I think we're in a flood zone in my little area, but we were good. All we had, like, we didn't have power for a while, but we didn't have power because of the fact that the trees and stuff had fallen outside of our cul-de-sac. So it's like, yeah. I pray over everything. I pray over everything. My prayers work. Like when I was staying at my mama's house, our house never got touched. Never got touched. Everything around us would be bad. It was a big gigantic tree that fell across somebody's yard. My mama got a huge tree in the back of her house. Never touched us. Dang, I wish I could quote that Bible quote so bad. But I think it's in Psalms 91, and it talks about like if you accept me as your refuge, or you say the Lord is my refuge, like things may fall in front of you but they won't touch you, type of thing. Like that's not the exact, but it's just gist of it. When I tell you, like it was one year we had a bad storm. I don't know if it was Michael or something else, but I think it was Michael. It might have been something like a Hermes or something. It was one of those storms, because both of those was bad storms. I had a wedding to go to in Gainesville. So I wasn't even at my mom's house or whatnot. I wasn't in town. Like I wasn't nowhere in the area. This place got hit so bad. Like not this place, because I wasn't in this place, but like this city got hit so bad. And I was in a different city. In the city I was in, it was like sunshiny and stuff. It was like a quick little sprinkle, but nothing else. But like the one time I'm not around for a hurricane, it was bad. So it was just like, I don't know. I don't be trying to make it seem like I'm just like, whatever. But it's a lot of stuff that happens. And like the people around me, everything be good. It's people that's like in the industry type thing or whatever. They wasn't like popping or received the different things they received until after they met me. I pray for my people. And when I pray for my people, them prayers get answered. You're going to be blessed. You are going to be blessed. But the sound of my voice, even if you don't hear it, because I pray for a lot of people, like in the privacy of my home. Like sometimes I just get like the urge to just randomly pray for different people or whatever. But everybody that done came into connection with me, and they had like big blessings and stuff. It's this, I don't like name dropping. I really do not like name dropping. But it's this photographer or videographer or whatever. His name is Fresh Made It. He was, had some type of following before we met each other. But a couple of years ago, I went to this concert in Jacksonville, the Millennial Tour. And we had the same hotel for whatever reason. Out of everybody that posted on their story about this tour, about being in the area of this tour, he reached out to me. He could have reached out to other people too, but I don't know. He reached out to me. And then the following morning, we ended up meeting up, and we had like an hour-long conversation about life and connections and about people we knew. We knew some of the same people or whatever. Then we fast forward to like a couple years ago, like after you know, not a couple years, but like a short period of time after me and him talked and had that discussion, Cardi B always shouting him out. He's the one who even took the pictures for her when she gave birth to her recent child. He's the one who took those pictures. All the celebrities and stuff always shouting him out and stuff like that. Sexy Red just posted him the other day because he had caught some footage for her. Like all of these people, Lotto's old manager, I don't know if he's still her manager. He like after, you know, he had ended up managing her after we met each other. It's like I don't know what it is. My energy. I got a friend. She's not in the industry or nothing like that. But literally, she had a conversation with me because stuff just was falling apart around her or whatever. And she just like, she called, like when stuff like that happens, I usually like, she'll talk to me and we'll have conversation and I'll tell her like whatever I have to tell her. And then shortly after we got off the phone, something that happened like a day or two after, and she'll call me back with the good news. There's power in the tongue. There's power in the tongue. And I'm one of those people, I want to see everybody around me win. I'm not one of those people who, just because I'm in one situation, I want everybody to just be in the same situation. I want everybody to prosper. Everybody that has come into contact with me. My current boyfriend, he says how, like he used to say all the time when we was younger, how I was a good luck charm. Because when I met him, was around the same time that he met the people that are, you know, he's a part of Parliament Funk. I don't know if y'all know what that is. P-Funk, that's an old school band. He's a part of them. He just came from Japan because like they had a couple of shows in Japan. When he first met me, this had not started. When he met me, that's when he met the other people that, you know, helped him be able to travel the world. This boy has been all around the world. He has been everywhere. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the energy thing. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. You will be blessed. You come across me, you will be blessed. Because I just want everybody to win. Like, this world is so big, everybody can win. I need to get to the point where I put myself up there because that's what I'm, you know. But, you know, it takes time. Like, the timing is not always when you want it to be. So, but I don't know. Everybody that comes in contact with me, if they're working on a certain thing, like especially in the industry, they take off after they meet me. I don't know. But that's just a thing I've noticed. That's just something I've noticed. But all right. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. I hope y'all decide to come back. You know, subscribe or whatnot, turn your notifications on so we can talk again. I really appreciate it. Love y'all, even though I don't know you. I still love you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.